My name is Scarlett, a 37-year-old married woman without children. Today marks our 5th wedding anniversary, and it is also my husband Everett's birthday, who happens to be the same age as me. Everett is an attractive salesman at a well-known company and appears to be quite successful. However, he often works late and entertains clients, which means we don't get to spend much time together. Our wedding was a simple ceremony held on a weekday with close family and a few friends. This was because both of us had weekend jobs and struggled to find a common schedule. It was Everett's strong desire to have it this way. For our anniversary and his birthday, I requested that he come home early. I even took a half day off from work. I went to a department store and purchased his favorite Wagyu steak, wine, and cake. I set a beautifully arranged table, eagerly waiting for him to come home. However, despite my insistence on his early return, he didn't come back. I received a single email from him stating that he had urgent work and would be staying at the office. I was disappointed, but understanding of his work commitments. I cleaned up the dinner and went to bed, feeling a bit uncertain since he had previously mentioned not being too busy. The next morning, I went to work as usual and my messages to his phone remained unread. He didn't respond to my calls either. Worried, I decided to call his office and was shocked to discover that he had resigned the day before and apparently found a job in a nearby area. I hadn't heard anything about this. I hurried back home and noticed his shoes at the entrance. In a state of surprise, I entered his room to find him packing his belongings into a suitcase. I couldn't help but ask, "What is happening?" He gazed at me with wide eyes and inquired, and he replied, "What? Have you already discovered it?" As he clicked his tongue and handed me the divorce documents. "What is happening?" With a frigid stare, he repeated my question and stated, "Let us proceed with a divorce." "Why? For what reason?" "I am tired of you neglecting your duties as a spouse. You prioritize work, do not cook, only do laundry once a week, and the room is filled with dust. I do not desire a wife of that nature. Hold on a moment. For the past 2 years, I prepared dinner and waited. However, you always claim to have eaten already and did not partake in it. That is why I stopped cooking. Nevertheless, it is a wife's obligation to cook and wait. Furthermore, your culinary skills are abysmal, so I began eating out. At the beginning of our marriage, he used to compliment my cooking. I trembled at his icy tone and argued that we had agreed when we got married that I would handle the laundry and cleaning on my days off, which are Wednesdays and Thursdays. Yet he merely rolled his eyes and remarked, "So I should tolerate a filthy room from Friday to Tuesday? That is a joke. What has come over you all of a sudden? I never anticipated that you would not quit your job even after 5 years of marriage. When I received a job offer, I thought it was a favorable opportunity. A favorable opportunity for a divorce? Everett never expressed dissatisfaction with my work or housekeeping, and there were no indications that he desired a divorce. Well, you never noticed how discontented I was. I do not require a wife of that nature. I have rented an apartment near my new job, so I will not be returning to this room." With that, he pushed me aside. I found myself standing in front of the entrance, clutching my suitcase. I stood there in astonishment, unable to comprehend what had just transpired. A week later, I attended a gathering for my former high school classmates. I wasn't particularly eager to go, but I had already paid the membership fee and hadn't been able to get in touch with Everett since our fallout. Each day, I felt increasingly frustrated, so I thought it might be a refreshing change of pace. As I arrived, I noticed that there were divorced individuals and single mothers among my classmates, all leading fulfilling lives. Until that point, I had only wished for a reconciliation with Everett. However, upon reflection, I realized that if we were to mend our relationship, I would have to follow him to his new place of employment. In that case, it would be impractical to continue working at my current job due to the long daily commute, even though it's just in the neighboring region. On the other hand, after working for 17 years since graduating from community college and receiving a decent salary, it would be nearly impossible to earn the same income in the new area. Everett had completely rejected me, and I began contemplating whether it was time to give up. The final blow came in the form of a phone call from Everett, urging me to relocate. We had been residing in a rented apartment, with Everett as the tenant. The lease renewal period was approaching, and it seemed that the real estate agent had contacted Everett. I informed them that we would be moving out within a month, so they should clear out everything by then. "I'm still living here, and you didn't consult me at all," I complained to him. In a confrontational manner, I responded, "I am the one who is renting it, so I don't need to seek your advice." Realizing the futility of the situation, I reluctantly agreed. "All right, I will clean up my belongings either this weekend or the following weekend. Please make sure to remove not only your things, but also everything left in my room, including the furniture." I was taken aback by this request and asked, "What do you mean? You originally rented this room when you were single, and most of the furniture has been used since then. Additionally, you purchased most of the other furniture and appliances with your credit card. I will dispose of the furniture and appliances that I primarily used, but naturally, you are responsible for getting rid of the rest and covering the disposal costs." As soon as I finished speaking, he abruptly ended the call. I couldn't help but think how selfish he was, only taking his precious belongings and leaving all the cleaning up to me. This incident strengthened my determination to divorce him. During the weekend, I started sorting out the closet, reminiscing about the happy times we had shared since our marriage. Among the items, I stumbled upon his high school graduation album. It occurred to me that all the friends Everett introduced me to were from after college. Lost in thought, I casually flipped through his graduation album, and that's when I noticed something unexpected. Without hesitation, I filed for divorce and informed Everett via email. A week later, in the evening, I received a response from Everett along with a picture, which turned out to be the registration form for the union between him and a lady surprised me. I was taken aback and gazed at it when he contacted me. "Did you witness it? What does this signify?" It is precisely what it appears to be. I recently had a wedding ceremony and remarried that lady. You're joking. She's extremely attractive, wealthy, and possesses an admirable character. She proposed to me right after we divorced. This serves as evidence. Isn't it astonishing? So while we were married, you were unfaithful to me? I am well liked, unlike you, who solely relies on your job. Oh, by the way, her father constructed a house for us on their land, and with his assistance, I relocated to her hometown. It's a moderately sized company, but I hold an executive position. Everett must have genuinely desired to boast about remarrying his affluent lover, but as he casually responded, a strong anger surged within me. He claimed there was an issue with me and divorced me, but in reality, it was to remarry his lover. He mentioned that they had been dating for over 2 years. They met at a bar with his colleagues, and she was one of 4 ladies sitting at the adjacent table. Allegedly, when Everett accidentally spilled his drink on his attire, she wiped it off, and that's how their conversation began. "Man, she is the same age as you and me, but she is incredibly attractive and appears 10 years younger. She promptly cleaned my clothes with a beautiful handkerchief." According to Everett, when he took her to a restaurant to express his gratitude, he discovered that she was a daughter of landowners. She had an arranged marriage at her parents' suggestion, but was troubled. I was deeply hurt by my spouse's unfaithfulness. After expressing the need to improve myself, she has completely changed compared to you. He stated that he was immediately attracted to her and then actively pursued her. She began dating Everett without officially ending her marriage. Is it not normal to question the loyalty of a woman who dates 2 men while still being married? However, blinded by love, Everett failed to notice. A woman who does not support her partner is not desirable. You prioritize your work and show no concern for your spouse. You are not suitable for me. Huh? Are you unable to stand on your own and expect me to support you? I couldn't help but shout at him. And Everett also seemed irritated, saying, "Oh, I am so relieved to finally be free from a woman like you. Stella is truly the best." Stella? Is that her name? Yes, it is written with characters that mean double and flower, just like the beautiful double cherry blossoms. She was born when the double cherry blossoms were in full bloom. Her parents have a great knack for choosing names. They are well-known figures. As I listened to Everett's enamored voice, I recalled something. Did you really marry such an amazing woman? Are you not lying? Pretending to ask this, Everett's pride was wounded. She is the best wife with an impressive family background and a wonderful personality. Look at her graceful beauty. As I anticipated, he sent me a photograph of the two of them on their wedding day. Ah, there is no doubt it is her. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. What is so amusing? This serves as proof that we truly got married. Aha, sure, it is indeed genuine. I couldn't help but chuckle, unable to contain my amusement. Hey, stop laughing. We actually got married and there's a baby on the way. What? No way. I can't stop laughing. Ah, I understand now. Losing me must have driven you insane. Everett interprets my laughter to his advantage and says dreamily, in 3 months, we'll welcome a baby girl. She will surely be as lovely as Stella. Well, even if she takes after you, she will still be beautiful. Everett has a charming and handsome face. For some reason, he becomes slightly flustered and says no, she doesn't need to resemble me. Upon hearing that, I burst into laughter once again. Everett tells me to go crazy on my own, bids farewell, and hangs up the phone. Eventually, he will discover the reason behind my laughter. I eagerly await that day. Afterwards, we had some disagreements regarding alimony and dividing our assets, but I managed to secure millions of dollars from Everett through a lawyer. Everett agreed to provide financial support for his share, not wanting to cause any emotional distress during my pregnancy. 2 years went by without any contact, and then I finally received a heart-wrenching email. Please, Scarlett, I implore you, please hear me out. Reluctantly, I answered the phone call that followed shortly after the email. As expected, it was about the child born between him and Stella. Well, children do tend to resemble their parents, don't they? Of course. Who else would they take after? Yeah, apparently, the baby girl doesn't bear any resemblance to the stunning Stella at all. I tried to say that she is only 2 years old. As time passes, Shell will undergo significant changes as she grows older. However, he remained unconvinced, finding it peculiar that there was no resemblance between them. Well, I suppose that does make sense. When I jokingly asked if the baby resembled him, he suddenly became anxious and loudly declared that she did not, but it was all right. It was all right that she didn't resemble him. Secretly, he conducted a DNA test to confirm Stella's fidelity, but the results unequivocally proved that both Everett and Stella were indeed the biological parents of the child. Therefore, there is no doubt that she is their child. Everett refused to let the conversation end there. Hey, do you remember when I informed you 2 years ago that Stella was pregnant? You laughed quite a bit. Do you have any insider information? Remarkably, he recalled that moment. Well, yes. Actually, Stella and I attended the same high school and were in the same grade. However, we were never in the same class during those 3 years, so I didn't know much about her. I do remember her being the daughter of a landlord and having an arrogant and unpleasant personality. During a class reunion approximately 2 years ago, the topic of Stella's plastic surgery came up. Apparently, Stella was self-conscious about her appearance, particularly her single eyelids, small eyes, button nose, and slight overbite. After high school, she underwent multiple procedures at a renowned cosmetic surgery clinic in New York. Unfortunately, she did not attend the reunion, so I was unable to see her transformed face. However, a friend later sent me before and after pictures of her. American cosmetic surgery truly is remarkable. When I shared this information with Everett, he found it hard to believe. Initially, I believed her, but then I realized that I had never seen any childhood or graduation album photos of her. Was I deceived? Darn it, Stella pretended to be submissive while we were in a relationship, but it turns out she was unfaithful to me multiple times and got divorced. She has been sued for spousal support by several of her former husband's spouses. I'm going to confront her. Maybe you shouldn't. Ha, why not? Well, the child doesn't resemble you either, correct? Typically, it is said that girls take after their fathers. When I mentioned this, Everett was speechless. She cannot resemble you. You've also undergone cosmetic surgery, haven't you? How did you? When I moved out of the apartment we shared 2 years ago, I discovered your high school graduation album. You looked like a completely different individual, so I was taken aback. After seeing that album, I understood why he never introduced me to his college friends, insisted on a simple wedding, and only invited a few coworkers. Everett probably had plastic surgery while he was in college and was afraid of his friends from that time finding out. I don't think there's anything wrong with cosmetic surgery, but you have to consider the possibility that your child may resemble your original appearance. What should I do? What do you mean, what should you do? Just be a regular father. The test results confirmed that the child is undoubtedly yours. With that, I ended the call, blocked his number and email address. He's such a close-minded man. Just because the appearance of the child is not what he desired? A year later, an acquaintance with a child the same age as Everett's presented me with a photograph of her child starting kindergarten, and the child was charming. The child simply did not resemble the current Stella or Everett. Showed me a picture of her child entering kindergarten, and the child was adorable. The child simply did not resemble the current Stella or Everett. However, according to my acquaintance who befriended Stella, Stella also anticipated her child to resemble Everett after his surgery. My acquaintance has to endure her grievances almost daily, stating I should not have given birth to such a child. Seriously, they are the most unpleasant couple ever. And it appears Everett cheated once again, so my acquaintance even received advice on separation from Stella. Everett is such a fool. If he ends up divorcing Stella, he will have to provide spousal support and child support. Additionally, since Stella is a wealthy woman, there is no telling how much money she could receive if she hires a skilled attorney. Moreover, according to my acquaintance who became friends with Stella, even the local children are aware of her cosmetic surgery, and her daughter is being excluded at kindergarten, being told, "Your mother is actually unattractive." It is a relief that Stella's parents appear to adore their granddaughter, but it is truly disheartening for the child. Well, it is none of my concern in any case. As for me, I successfully rented an apartment in a convenient location for commuting. Now that the distance is shorter, I can perform household chores and laundry after returning home, and I dedicate my free time solely to my personal pursuits. I have strengthened my bond with a fellow classmate who has gone through a divorce, whom I reconnected with during a reunion. As a result, I am relishing in a relaxed and enjoyable lifestyle.